Let's start with something that almost nobody takes advantage of. When you first board the ship, there is usually a window of time, sometimes up to 2 hours, where the spa offers complimentary treatments or heavily discounted services just to get you in the door. They call these embarkation day specials, and the spa staff will rarely announce them over the intercom. You have to walk in and ask. The worst they can say is no, but most of the time, you will walk out with a free mini facial or a complimentary scalp massage before the ship even leaves the port. Here is something that gets even more interesting. Most major cruise lines have what is called an unscheduled port day policy. If rough weather or mechanical issues cause the ship to skip a port, passengers are actually entitled to certain compensations. This could be onboard credits, free specialty dining, or even future cruise discounts. The catch is that cruise lines are not legally required to advertise this to you, so most passengers just go back to their rooms and sulk. You, however, now know to walk directly to guest services and ask what compensation is available. That single conversation could put real money back in your pocket. Now, let us talk about the dining situation, because this is where things get really good. Specialty restaurants on cruise ships charge extra, and that is no secret. But what most people do not realize is that these same restaurants often have unadvertised lunch service that is completely free or dramatically cheaper than dinner. The menu might be slightly scaled back, but you are talking about the same kitchen, the same chefs, and a fraction of the cost. Sometimes literally zero cost, depending on the cruise line. Check the daily schedule carefully and look for lunch hours at venues that normally charge a premium at dinner. There is also a little-known perk tied directly to your loyalty status, even if you have only sailed once before. Most cruise loyalty programs give returning passengers early boarding access, which sounds like a minor convenience until you realize what early boarding actually unlocks. You get first access to premium deck chairs in the best locations, first pick at the buffet before the crowds arrive, and you can make dining reservations on board before other passengers even step onto the gangway. One sailing is often all it takes to unlock this, so if you have ever cruised before, check your loyalty number and make sure it is applied to every future booking. Something that blew my mind when I first discovered it was the free room service options that get buried inside the daily schedule. While most cruise lines do charge for room service now, there are almost always specific items or specific time windows where certain basics remain free. Morning coffee, continental breakfast items, or late-night snack options sometimes fall into this category, depending on the cruise line and the ship class. Always check the fine print in your cabin information, because leaving that untouched is genuinely leaving free stuff on the table. And then there is the art auction situation. Cruise ship art auctions are famous for feeling like high-pressure sales environments, but here is the thing most people do not realize. Just attending gives you access to complimentary champagne, sometimes a small gift, and occasionally exclusive raffle entries for onboard credits. You are not obligated to buy a single thing. Walk in, enjoy the perks, and walk right back out. Here's the psychological trick cruise lines use that you need to understand. They design the onboard experience around the assumption that most passengers will not ask questions and will not push back. They count on you being too relaxed, too vacation-brained, or too intimidated to advocate for yourself. The passengers who get the most out of a cruise are simply the ones who show up informed and willing to have a polite conversation at the right desk. So here is your action plan. Before your next sailing, look up your cruise line's loyalty program and attach your number to your booking. On embarkation day, head straight to the spa. Check the specialty restaurant lunch schedules daily. If anything goes wrong with ports or service, go to guest services and ask calmly about compensation. And attend at least one art auction just for the free drinks. The cruise line is not going to send you a memo about any of this. But now you know, and knowledge on a cruise ship is worth real money. If you found this useful, the next video is going to cover cabin upgrade secrets that work even after you have already booked.